So Apple was one of our cash-like instruments. It's an innovative company. It's in the innovation zone, but its characteristics are very defensive. So we will add names like Apple, the FANGs, Apple, Google, Facebook. We will add those, add to those positions, or even reintroduce those stocks. As a bull market, our portfolios were up 150%. We knew there was going to be a correction, and we just wanted to have very liquid stocks. Apple is a great company. It's going to do fine. It's a FANG. It's in a lot of portfolios. We are all about the next FANGs, but we will use the existing FANGs. If you see, they are acting very defensively. Become a defensive group. So we will fold them in, increase them when we see a move like we saw last year. When we see a decline, like the one we're seeing now, we're seeing much higher returns from the other stocks in our portfolio.
You know, you were talking about kind of value and cyclical, and I'm curious, are there any value and cyclical strategies right now that you guys have identified as ones you want to pursue?
Well, in our space strategy, ARKX, you'll find a lot of value-oriented stocks. Many people are surprised to see Deere, for example, in there. And what they don't understand is thanks to satellite technology and the increase in the number of satellites out there and the precision that we're getting from them, we are now enabling precision agriculture with autonomous tractors and drones. So without that constellation out there, that would not be happening. We think the two biggest applications or beneficiaries of the space race are satellites, going to enable mobile connectivity or connectivity around the world, broadband connectivity. It is really hard for us to imagine that 3 billion people in the world have no access to the internet or broadband. This is going to enable that, satellites, and also farming. And the other thing we think is going to happen much sooner than space tourism, or it'll be a much bigger deal in terms of revenue generation, is hypersonic flight. So any aerospace company focused on hypersonic flight, we're interested in. And they tend to be value stocks.
You mentioned earlier, there have been people who have been very vocal and public fans of you, and then some now have become your critics, or they criticize, having a younger investment and, group of analysts, your analyst team. What do you say to them? I would say that's our secret weapon. Those analysts have their education and their feet in the new world. The most seasoned analysts, healthcare analysts on Wall Street, and God bless them, they've been great at what they do. Anything, they know all the code words and how to decipher them from the FDA. But they probably haven't experimented with CRISPR gene editing like our genomic analysts have. And they don't have advanced degrees in cognitive computing, including bringing behavioral science into it. So many of our analysts are coming to us directly from college, and they are fully equipped with domain expertise in a way that most analysts out there, again, very seasoned, are not, just because they didn't go to school and haven't been exposed to these new technologies. Now, I know there are a lot of PhDs out there, and they, of course, know a lot. But I would put any of our analysts up against the most seasoned analysts on the street when it comes to the topic of innovation and new technologies, right? That's our focus. And so why wouldn't we? I think we have a competitive advantage for a few reasons. Number one, our analysts, their domain expertise. Number two, their willingness to engage with the communities out there through social media and give our research away, not when it's finished, but as it's evolving, so that they can communicate and engage with the innovators themselves. So I think we have a competitive dynamic unmatched out there in the industry. Hey, just to wrap up, Cathie, and you and I have been talking for a lot of years. This has kind of been a year that's unusual, I would say, in some regards for you. What have you learned in the past year, and what does maybe change mean to you?
Well, as we were having such an incredible year last year, and I do think the coronavirus crisis caused it, innovation solves problems. I kept saying to everyone, this will not, everyone in the company, we must stay humble. We must stay humble, and we know this is going to come to an end. We're going to go through a severe correction, and we have to just keep our heads down, focused on our research to keep our conviction and drive our strategies forward. That's what's happened. Keeping our heads down, hopefully staying humble, and really trying to educate people. The great opportunities available out there. Get on the right side of change. This is going to be the most amazing period of my investment career. And I've been through 40 plus years because we've never seen 5 innovation platforms evolve at the same time, all of them leading to exponential growth trajectories that are going to transform people's lives. And so I say just, read our research, talk to our analysts on Twitter if you really want to learn more, and join the ride, because we believe it's going to be magnificent.
Just quickly from the audience, do you ever get recognized in public like a celebrity? Some people liken you to Warren Buffett, and do you ever miss kind of your pre-rockstar days? Just quickly.
The answer is yes, much to my surprise, even in an island off of New Zealand, which is what? We are honored and delighted, because you know what, and I know it's been hard for our clients in recent months, keep the faith, but many people's lives have been changed by what happened last year. They put they allocated resources towards our strategies, towards Bitcoin, and they had a magnificent run. So it's gratitude that we feel. Now, of course, we're feeling very responsible, of course, this year, but that's why it's so important for us to say, that what pains me more than anything as a portfolio manager is when I know our clients are selling at the bottom. And it usually is that people sell. The big capitulation that I described earlier with Bitcoin is selling at the bottom. So you make a terrible mistake, and you don't want to ever get in again. And it just pains me. So I'm just praying that we don't have a lot of that. We've had a lot of retention. Just to correct one thing you said at the beginning, actually, as a firm, we've not had 1 month of redemptions. The ETF platform had, if you go month end to month end, which is how we measure this sort of thing,
right.
Our redemptions in March were 500 million. We've had positive flows in April. May, it remains to be seen. It's been nip and tuck. It may end up being a small, depends on what happens in these last few weeks. But if there's real capitulation, sure, we could have a big outflow, but I think that's capitulation. So. All
right, we're going to leave it on that. Cathie, thank you so much. I know it's a crazy day. You always find time. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
You always.
Okay, you have, of course,